Hi, this is Meteorologist Pellettiere, and I am the Weatherman. Thanks for checking into the weathermanpod.com on your Wednesday, 10th day of the month of June 2026. My goodness, a third of the month already through, and here we're looking at some very warm weather coming up as we get closer and closer to the first official day of summer. And looking back at least the first third of this month, it seems like it's a little bit drier than normal, a little bit warmer than normal. It's funny, eastern Pennsylvania, at least northeastern PA, interior New York State, up into Rochester, eastward to Utica, and into the Albany area. You're looking at temperatures averaging at maybe a half degree above normal. And rainfall amounts just about where they should be for this time of year. But if you go closer to New York City and coastal Connecticut and up into southern New England, all the way down to D.C. and Baltimore, you're looking at amounts of temperature about 2 degrees above normal so far for the first third of the month. And rainfall amounts that are averaging about a half an inch below normal. Now, over the next several days, we are going to see some heavy thunderstorms moving on through, and we have a series of cold fronts that will be moving through probably around the middle portion of the month, and each one of those cold fronts could have some locally heavy downpours with thunderstorms, but that's not the most beneficial type of rain that we require. We need a good old soaking rain. Don't see that just yet. Might see that at some point next week. But in the meantime, you're just going to have a mix of clouds and sunshine for your Wednesday as temperatures range between the low to middle 80s and a 50% chance of an afternoon or evening thunderstorm today. Some could also have some locally heavy downpours. Similar situation for tomorrow, but temperatures tomorrow on Thursday will be warmer, 90 to 95, and afternoon and evening thunderstorms likely. Friday, sunny and hot, up into the mid-90s. That's going to cause our average temperatures to go way above normal. And just a 30% chance of a late-day thunder shower. I think most of the time will be dry and rain-free on Friday, as it will also on Saturday and Sunday. And each day, upper 80s, lower 90s for the weekend, but at least lower relative humidities on more west-northwest winds at that point. And then maybe some changes coming about early next week. Now, if you're traveling by air today, for good balance of the day, probably up until about 2 or 3 p.m., the New York area probably will be okay weather-wise. But locally, severe thunderstorms in the later afternoon and early evening hours, or even the middle evening hours, could slow things down considerably, cause some delays getting in and around the New York area, also up and around the Boston region for a little bit later on today. D.C., Baltimore, Philly, all also showing that possibility of some locally heavy thunderstorms, as will Charlotte. So maybe some delays getting into Charlotte, North Carolina. Atlanta, just some scattered showers. I don't think anything much. And also it looks like Central and South Florida will have afternoon and evening scattered thunderstorms, which are typical, but no major problems as far as inbounds and outbounds to Central and South Florida. Houston and Dallas also hot and muggy, but also scattered thunderstorms, but nothing much too severe. The severe weather will be in and around the Chicago area and also up around Minneapolis, St. Paul, so keep that in mind. There will be delays, if not cancellations, going into those two places, delays into the Chicago area. I'm sure they'll be getting them in and out, but with 1 to 3 hour delays, I should say. But if it's going to be days, it's going to be pretty bad. But 1 to 3 hour delays into the Chicago Midway or O'Hare. And even up into Milwaukee and Wisconsin, you're going to be seeing some of those locally severe weather moving in those places. Dry weather in San Diego, San Francisco, and also L.A. It looks like also drying conditions in Portland and Seattle, so no major problems on the West Coast expected for today. Biggest weather makers will probably be across the western Great Lakes, so keep that in mind if you're traveling into there. There will be delays today. I'm Meteorologist Pellettiere, and I am the Weatherman. We'll have a great day today, and we'll talk to you the first thing on Thursday. Check the heat out. See you then.